It is TON 618, and it is the largest black hole we have ever discovered. Before you understand TON 618, you must first understand what a black hole truly is. A black hole is not just an object. It is a region of space where gravity becomes so intense that nothing can escape, not even light. This is not science fiction. This is a prediction of Einstein's theory of general relativity, confirmed through decades of observation and research. NASA explains that black holes form when massive stars collapse under their own gravity, compressing matter into a point of infinite density known as a singularity. Around this singularity exists a boundary called the event horizon. Once anything crosses this boundary, there is no return. Time itself begins to distort. Space stretches. Matter is torn apart in a process scientists call spaghettification. But TON 618 is not just a black hole. It is something far beyond normal understanding. TON 618 belongs to a class known as ultramassive black holes, objects so large that even the term supermassive feels inadequate. Its mass is estimated to be about 66 billion times the mass of our Sun. Pause for a moment and try to understand that number. 66 billion suns compressed into a region of space. Our Sun alone contains 99.8% of the mass of our entire solar system. Now multiply that by billions. This is not just size, this is dominance on a cosmic scale. If TON 618 replaced where our Sun is, its event horizon would stretch far beyond the orbit of Neptune. The entire solar system would disappear inside it, not metaphorically, but physically, completely consumed by its gravity. This is why it is called terrifying. Because it is not just big.
It is unstoppable. The light from TON 618 takes more than 10 billion years to reach Earth.
That means when we observe it, we are not seeing it as it is today. We are seeing it as it was when the universe itself was young. This object existed when galaxies were still forming, when cosmos was still evolving, when everything we know today was only beginning. And yet, even at that early stage, TON 618 had already grown into a monster. This creates a scientific mystery that challenges everything we know. How does something become this massive so quickly? According to current models of astrophysics, black holes grow over time by consuming matter and merging with other black holes. But even with these processes, reaching 66 billion solar masses should take far longer than the age of the universe at that time. And yet, TON 618 exists. This means one of two things. Either our understanding of black hole formation is incomplete, or the universe is capable of creating structures far more extreme than we ever imagined. TON 618 is not just a black hole. It is a challenge to physics. It sits at the center of a quasar, one of the brightest objects in the universe. A quasar is powered by a black hole consuming enormous amounts of matter. As gas and dust spiral inward, they form an accretion disk, heating up to millions of degrees and emitting vast amounts of energy. In the case of TON 618, this energy output is staggering. It shines with the brightness of over 140 trillion suns. Think about that. A single object outshining entire galaxies. But this brightness is also a warning, because what we are seeing is destruction. Matter is falling inward at incredible speeds, sometimes thousands of kilometers per second, being heated, stretched, and ultimately erased from existence. This is not just consumption. This is annihilation, and yet despite all this power, TON 618 is invisible. You cannot see a black hole directly. What you see is the effect it has on its surroundings. The light from the accretion disk, the motion of nearby matter, the distortion of space itself. It is like looking at a shadow cast by something you cannot see. But here is where the story becomes even more profound. Black holes are not just cosmic destroyers. They are also fundamental to the structure of the universe. Most galaxies, including our own Milky Way, have supermassive black holes at their centers. These black holes influence the formation of stars, the distribution of matter, and the evolution of galaxies. Our own galaxy is anchored by Sagittarius A star, a black hole with a mass of about 4 million suns. Now compare that to TON 618. 4 million versus 66 billion. This is not a difference of scale. This is a difference of category. TON 618 is thousands of times more massive than the black hole at the center of our galaxy, and that leads to a terrifying realization. If something like TON 618 existed closer to us, the consequences would be unimaginable. Its gravitational influence would dominate entire regions of space. Stars would be pulled from their orbits. Gas clouds would be consumed. Radiation from its accretion disk would flood nearby systems with energy strong enough to strip atmospheres from planets. But the universe in its vastness has placed TON 618 far away, for now. This is where science meets humility, because the existence of TON 618 reminds us how small we are. Not just physically, but intellectually. We like to believe that we understand the universe, that we have mapped it, categorized it, and explained it. But objects like TON 618 prove otherwise. They reveal gaps in our knowledge. They expose the limits of our theories. They force us to confront the unknown. The history of TON 618 begins not with its discovery as a black hole, but as a mystery. In 1957, astronomers observed a faint blue object during a survey of distant stars. It did not behave like a typical star. It appeared unusual, almost out of place. At the time, scientists did not know what quasars were. It was not until the 1960s that the true nature of quasars began to be understood. These were not stars, but incredibly distant and powerful objects powered by black holes at the centers of galaxies. TON 618 was one of them. Over time, as technology improved, astronomers began to analyze its light, its spectrum, and its behavior. From this data, they were able to estimate its mass, its distance, and its energy output. And what they found was astonishing. TON 618 was not just another quasar. It was one of the most extreme objects ever observed. Its size is almost impossible to comprehend. The diameter of its event horizon is estimated to be around 390 billion kilometers. Light itself would take weeks to travel across it. Think of it. Light, the fastest thing in the universe, slowed to weeks just across a single object. This is the scale we are dealing with. And yet, despite its size, TON 618 is still just one object among billions in the universe. This is where the inspirational aspect of this story emerges. Because when you look at something like TON 618, you are not just looking at a black hole. You are looking at the power of discovery. The ability of the human mind to observe, measure, and understand something that exists billions of light years away. We have never been there. We have never touched it. And yet we know its mass, we know its distance. We know its behavior. That is the power of science. It allows us to reach beyond our physical limits and explore the universe with our minds. TON 618 represents both the terrifying and the beautiful aspects of the cosmos. It is destructive yet illuminating. It consumes yet reveals. It challenges yet inspires. And perhaps the most important lesson it teaches us is this. The universe is not built to be understood easily. It is vast. It is complex. It is filled with extremes that push the boundaries of imagination. But that does not mean we stop trying. Because every time we discover something like TON 618, we take a step forward. We expand our understanding. We push the limits of what is possible. We move from ignorance to knowledge, from darkness to light, and in that journey we find something even more powerful than the objects we study. Ourselves. Because the same curiosity that led us to discover TON 618 exists within you. The same drive to explore, to question, to understand. That is what defines humanity. Not our strength, but our desire to know. TON 618 may be the largest black hole we know. It may be the darkness that swallows everything. But it also represents something else. A reminder that even in the face of the most overwhelming, incomprehensible forces in the universe, we are still capable of understanding. Still capable of discovering. Still capable of reaching beyond the limits of our world. So when you think about TON 618, do not just think about its size. Think about what it means. A universe filled with mysteries, a mind capable of exploring them, and a future where the unknown is not something to fear, but something to pursue.